What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 99 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast on this Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. I'm your host, Zach Malum, but before we get started, please subscribe below, follow all of my social accounts. Let's start things off in the world of baseball, as both New York teams were in action this weekend, and we'll start things with the New York Yankees, as they were back home for a three-game set against their rival Houston Astros Friday to Sunday, and it was more of the same from the Yankees. They had lost 5 of their last 6. Yes, they grabbed the last game down in Texas on Wednesday, and I talked about that on the previous episode. Go check that one out. But they go into this series against Houston, and Houston's really good right now. Top of the AL West, playing really good baseball, and they're also without Yordan Alvarez doing all of that. So that's a really good sign for the Astros, especially heading towards postseason time. But the Yankees just really are bitten again by Jose Altuve. Friday's game started with a 2-run bomb by Altuve into left field, a hanging breaking ball by Cam Schlittler, and you cannot leave that for the power that Altuve has when it's really that high in the zone. I mean, he really just drills things out of the park. When it gets to that sweet spot for him, it's usually high in the zone, and if it's a high fastball, a high breaking ball, Altuve's taking it deep, and he did that against Schlittler to give the Astros a 2-0 lead in the first. Yankees chipped away a couple of RBI singles, including Aaron Judge, who knocked a run in to tie the game at 2. But then you have Devin Williams come in the 10th inning, and really, I can't blame Aaron Boone too much on this one because it was Williams' time. It was Williams' opportunity. There really wasn't anybody else left in the bullpen. The Yankees had used a lot of guys, and they end up going with Devin Williams. I mean, all their main guys, they couldn't use Bednar again, and they end up going with Devin Williams one more time. He allows 2 earned runs, which could have ended up being 3 earned runs with Correa knocking in the RBI single, but due to the ghost runner, it's only 2 earned runs for Devin Williams. Taylor Trammell had the big blow. That was really the difference in this one. Taylor Trammell with a 2-run bomb into right center that ended up giving the Astros a 5-2 lead. Yankees chipped away, got a run up on the board to make it 5-3, but that was all she wrote on Friday evening, and the Yankees lose it in 10, 5-3, with Devin Williams getting his 5th loss of the year. They go into Saturday's game, the Yankees do, and I think it's more about the pitching, and the pitching really stepping up and giving them some good length. But also, I mean, the bullpen has been a little bit shaky here and there, and they figured it out here and there in the last couple of games, but they don't have Devin Williams on the mound, so that was a good sign for the Yankees in this game, and they end up winning it 5-4 on Saturday. Trent Grisham was the hero. He hits a solo shot and absolutely launches a solo shot 408 feet into right center, and he gives the Yankees a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 8th. That the Yankees took into the 9th inning with David Bednar getting a 5-out save once again. This one a little bit shorter than the last time when he faced Texas with 42 pitches, and then that was the season high. This one was only 23 pitches, so a little bit less for David Bednar to really give out for this Yankees team, but he goes an inning and a third, gets the 5-out save, allows just 1 walk with 2 Ks, and the Yankees end up grabbing a huge win against Houston, one that they needed badly, especially for the wild card picture. And then you're thinking going into Sunday, maybe because the Yankees could win this series, but I mean, this was a horrible game on Sunday. The Yankees end up not getting a hit till the 6th inning, and they only have 3 hits on the day. It was Jason Alexander who ended up keeping the Yankees at bay, and Max Fried really struggled in this one. 5 innings, 8 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. For Max Fried, who since the All-Star break just has not been good. Maybe it's due to that blister injury that he ended up dealing with for a week or so, and maybe that's really the difference right now, but he does not look like the Yankees ace right now, and that's really where he's got to get back to. He moves to 12-5 on the year, and Jason Alexander really had a phenomenal outing in this one. 6 innings with just 1 hit allowed, no earned runs, 3 Ks with 3 walks. I mean, just great stuff by Alexander, and he ends up getting the victory in this one. But it was all about the Houston offense as well. They put up 7 runs on the board, and it really, the scoreline really flattered Houston in the end. They grabbed 3 runs in the 9th to make it 7-1 after it was just 4-1 after the seventh inning. But I think Houston really deserved to win this series. They end up playing a little bit of small ball. They figured things out with their offense, and their pitching is really, really strong. That's a team that if the Yankees run into in October, they know that it's going to be real, real tough, especially with Yordan Alvarez probably coming back into the lineup pretty soon for the Astros. So the Yankees end up losing the series, their third consecutive series loss. They face off against the Minnesota Twins for a 3-game set at Yankee Stadium, and it all started yesterday, and really in good fashion. The Yankees have not lost many games to the Minnesota Twins. They're on an 8-game winning streak now against Minnesota. They just continue to torment the Twins, whether it's in the regular season or even the playoffs. Just really, Minnesota just can't stand a chance, and they ended up not standing a chance against Will Warren yesterday, who was really, really good for the Yankees. He gets the win. He went 6 2/3 with 3 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks. And no walks. I mean, just great stuff there, especially the Ks to walks. That's what you need in a starter, and that's why he ended up going pretty deep in this one. The home runs were out, 3 solo shots for the Yankees early in this game. It was Bellinger in the first inning with Stanton and Rice in the third inning. And then, got a little bit close with the couple of solo shots for the Minnesota Twins, and that's when Warren went out of the game with those 2 earned runs. But I think you look at the Yankees in the end, they go into the 7th and the 8th and keep chipping away. Great job by this offense figuring things out. They end up having 10 hits on the day, and that's exactly what you want to see after they really struggled the day before against Houston. So the second game of this 3-game set takes place tonight, 7:05 start. It's going to be Carlos Rodon on the mound. He's going to go up against, we don't know yet for the Minnesota Twins, but it's a 7:05 start at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees go with Rodon to try and go up against this Twins team that they just really own right now. So Yankees looking for another win, and we'll see what happens. And really, they need to continue to pick up wins because Cleveland is right on their tail in this AL wild card. That was a big win yesterday by the Yankees as Cleveland ended up losing the game before. And that's really the difference right now. Yankees still sitting a game ahead of Cleveland for that final wild card spot. Seattle is red hot right now, 7-game win streak for the Mariners. And Boston's kind of sputtering a little bit, so the Yankees could try and catch up to that second place spot in the American League East, with obviously Toronto leading the way. So we'll see what happens, but the Yankees take on the Twins, 7:05 start. But on the other side of New York, it was the New York Mets who were also in action this weekend. It was more of the same for this Mets team that has completely lost it lately. They've lost 11 of their last 12. They've gotten swept 3 times now in their last 12 games, and they end up getting the loss again against Milwaukee in the series. They get swept by the Brewers, and it all started on Friday with a 3-2 loss where the Mets had the lead. That's been the story. The Mets have the lead, and Kodai Senga can't go deep enough in the game. Ends up allowing a 2-run bomb to Bryce Terang after Soto and Marte hit solo shots in the first and second inning to give the Mets a 2-0 lead. Terang hits the 2-run bomb to tie it at 2, then a hit by pitch in the bottom of the 5th, and that was all she wrote, as the Mets really can't get any offense other than that up on the board. They lose it 3-2 on Friday. Then you go to Saturday, and it was more of the same for the Mets as they continue to have a lead and just continue to blow it, as they ended up having a lead in the 5th inning with Juan Soto hitting a solo shot to make it 4-3. That was a real big moment for the Mets after they had blown the lead a couple times, and really the solo shots were out on Saturday with Alonso hitting number 252 to tie Darryl Strawberry. Starling Marte added a solo shot, and of course Juan Soto giving the Mets a 4-3 lead. But then you go into the 7th inning, and Ryan Stanek blew this game wide open with a just horrible performance once again. He's allowed plenty of runs, 8 earned runs in his last 4 outings to be exact, and he only goes 2 1/3 with 2 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, no walks, and no Ks. And this game was really over once Ryan Helsley came into the game as well and pitched a solid ball to William Contreras, who ends up knocking it out of the ballpark, and he gave the Brewers, a 7-4 lead, and they go on to win it 7-4. Mets were not going to put up runs after that, and that's really the story of the game. But then you go into Sunday's game, and the Mets had a 5-0 lead in this one against the Brewers. Just close the game out, rely on the bullpen, and get the job done. And they just cannot do it. A 5-0 lead at the end of in the end of the top of the fourth, excuse me. But then you go to the bottom of the fourth, and that's where all the trouble started, as really they just could not get through this game. Sean Manaea starts giving up runs, and it was William Contreras who again hit a home run for Milwaukee, and then it was Joey Ortiz with a 2-run single that ended up making this a real close game, 5-3 in the fourth inning. Alonso added to the Mets lead, but just more mayhem for this Mets bullpen, and you would think the last guy to be a part of that would be Edwin Diaz. And yes, it wasn't all Edwin Diaz. It ended up being Ryan Helsley who came into the game, allowed a run in the 8th inning when the Mets just really couldn't buy that. They really needed Helsley to come in and have a shutdown inning. He does not do that, and Edwin Diaz comes in, locks things down in the bottom of the 8th, and gets the last out in the bottom of the 8th, then comes out for the next batter in the 9th, and it was Isaac Collins who took him deep, a walk-off home run for Collins, and Milwaukee ends up taking it 7-6. And the Mets continue to be a dumpster fire right now since the trade deadline. They cannot figure out how to win games after that 7-game winning streak that they had right after the deadline. All of a sudden, or right after the All-Star break, excuse me. Now they go after the deadline, and it's just been mayhem for New York. They cannot figure out what to do, and offense is bad one day and defense is bad the other day. Then you have pitching really not helping out here and there. Their starters can't go deep into games, and all of a sudden you're sitting here on August 12th and the Mets only have a 2-game lead to just stay in the playoff picture right now. Cincinnati ended up losing yesterday, and that helped the Mets. Of course, it was at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies, which really didn't help the Mets, as they still hope that they have a chance in the NL East to catch the Phillies and win the division. But they only have a 2-game lead over Cincinnati, and they need to figure out how to win games quickly because, they are sputtering out of control. And really, the best time to play the Atlanta Braves, and Met fans are going to stay away from that because they know, even with how bad the Braves are, 51-67 this year, the Braves will always show up for a series against the Mets, but the Braves are really ravaged by injuries right now and can't buy a win. The Mets have to win this series. Probably sweep the Braves to feel really back to 100%. That's really what you're talking about right now for this Mets team. They have to figure things out, and it's going to be a good matchup tonight with Spencer Strider on the mound, taking on Clay Holmes for the Mets. Holmes is 9-6 on the year, 3.45 ERA. On the other side, Strider 5-9 this year, but the 4.04 ERA looking pretty good right now for Strider. And they end up going into this series against the Braves, a 3-game set at Citi Field. It all starts 7:10 tonight, so we'll see what happens. Make sure you tune in all series long. The Mets need wins badly. 11 of their last 12 in a 7-game losing streak. They have to win this game really, really badly tonight, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the series. But make sure you tune in all series long as the Mets take on the Braves at Citi Field. But that will do it for episode 99 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast. Please subscribe below. I've been Zach Malin. Thanks for watching, and talk to you all on Thursday.